Hi, so today I'm going to read another book by David Walliams called Miss Conceit, the Human Work of Art. Miss Conceit, the Human Work of Art. Miss Conceit thought of herself as a work of art, though with her electric blue boots, orange hat, yellow dress, flowing pink scarf and black and white tights, she looked more like a licorice all sort. She taught art at a school that was the definition of ordinary. Humdrum High. The school was colourless, except for one room, the art room. That was an explosion of colour, as Miss Conceit had made it a shrine to herself. Pictures of her adorned the walls. The teacher had humbly added herself into the most famous paintings of all times. Here she was as Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. There she was as Johannes Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring. Frida Kahlo's self-portrait with thorn necklace and hummingbird now had Miss Conceit's face staring back at you. Sandro Botticelli's The Birth of Venus was renamed The Birth of Miss Conceit. One of Georgia O'Keeffe's flowers suddenly had Miss Conceit's face right at the centre of it. She became bald for Edvard Munch's The Scream. Vincent van Gogh's famous self-portrait with a bandage on his ear became a portrait of Miss Conceit with a plaster on her ear. Tamara de Lempica's Tamara in the Green Bugatti was reimagined as Miss Conceit in a brown Mini. Perhaps most startling of all was Miss Conceit's edition of herself surfing Katsushika's Hokusai's iconic The Great Wave. In the centre of the classroom stood a larger-than-life-size sculpture. It was Michelangelo's David, but now it had her face chiselled on it, and it was renamed Miss Conceit's Miss Conceit. All that the children were allowed to paint was her. This she would make them do over and over again until they'd finally captured her, as she called it, immensital beautifulness. Her poor pupils missed break time and lunch time, had to stay behind for hours after school, and even missed weekends until these artworks of herself met her approval. It was as if she were an Egyptian pharaoh, and they were her slaves, working night and day to immortalise her. In ancient Egypt, thousands of slaves died building the pyramids, which were giant tombs for members of the royal family. Free history lesson. One day there was an announcement on the television news of a nationwide children's art contest. Every school in the country was invited to take part in the Children's Art Competition Knockout, or CAC for short. Miss Conceit was in the staff room when she saw the news. She was so thrilled she spat her coffee all over the headmaster. Mr. Dower, who was quietly getting on with his crossword, splurted, "Yuck!" "Yes," exclaimed Miss Conceit. She began skipping around the staff room. Da-dee-dum-dee-dum-dee-da. Soon everyone at Humdrum High knew how thrilled she was. She cartwheeled down the corridor. She danced in the dining hall. She pogoed in the playground. She limboed in the library. She high-kicked in the history classroom. She strutted around the science block. She foxtrotted on the football pitch. She cha-cha'd around the climbing frame. She tiptoed through the toilet. Miss Conceit knew this competition would be the making of her. Now she wouldn't just be a legend in her own school. The whole world would know who she was. Miss Conceit would finally be heralded as the greatest art teacher who ever lived. Before and after. Humdrum High could be demolished and replaced by a giant golden statue of her. The rules of the CAC competition were simple. Children from each school had to work together to create a piece of art. It could be a painting or a sculpture or whatever they chose. The winning piece would be displayed in the Gallery of Great and Good Art, or Gaga for short. So on the morning that the competition was announced, Miss Conceit waltzed onto the stage at the Humdrum High Assembly. "Children, it is I, your humble most art teacher, Miss Conceit," she began. There were groans from some of the kids in the hall. Ugh. They didn't believe a word of it. She just pretended to be humble, as people often do. Miss Conceit was as humble as the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Others simply yawned. The teacher was such a bum-numbing bore, after all. There were some very serious cases of bums becoming numb at Humdrum High. A number of children had, in fact, been hospitalised. "As you may have witnessed on your televisual box this very morning," she continued, "a school art contestation has been announced. The Children's Art Competition Knockout, or for short, CAC. Ha ha ha. All the kids were laughing now, though Miss Conceit had no idea why. The prize is noticed money or fame, both of which, as you know, I shun. Another groan from the kids. Ugh. For me, the greatest prize is posterity, a place in Gaga. Ha ha ha. Again, Miss Conceit had no idea why that was funny. Now I want every single one of you inspirational, magnificent, wondermental children to be part of this. To make humdrum high, celebrated on every corner of the planet that we do call Earth. The kids were not happy. This was yet more work for them. Do we have to? Not fair. She's always making us do extra work. It's all about her. Can't she just disappear up her own bottom? I would rather eat my sock. Wonderment, wonderment, called the teacher, as if they had all been cheering her. Now I want you, the kids, to shout out and tellish me what you think our school's work of artiment should be. A ripple of excitement passed through the school hall. This seemed like a marvellous opportunity to be naughty. Best of all, if all the kids were naughty, the teachers wouldn't be able to punish them. You can't put the whole school in detention, unless, of course, you are Miss Seath. How about a sculpture of a giant bogey made entirely of snot? Shouted a voice from the back. Ha ha ha. Miss Conceit's face turned sour. Properment suggestiment only, please. No, 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 called someone from the middle of the sea of naughtiness. How about we make a model of the skull using only foot cheese? Ha ha ha. That is not the least bit funniest. I know, hollered a voice from somewhere, though nobody could be sure of where exactly. We should all paint a ginormous bottom burp in different shades of brown. You are not taking this seriously. This is art. The art teacher was not in the least bit amused, even if every single person in the hall was. Ha ha ha. Even her fellow teachers were chortling away. They found her deeply annoying too. Settlement down, please, shouted the teacher. Eventually order was restored. Good, good. Now I think we have had quite enoughment of silly suggestibles. So I, Miss Conceit, your humblemost art teacher, will decidable the work of her artment will be of. Miss Conceit left a long pause for dramatic effect. Me? Boo! No, fix! Not again! What a colossal surprise, shouted the kids. Even the stern-faced Mr. Dower, who had been soaked in the staff room, added his voice to the chorus of disapproval. What a load of poopy plop-plops, was his verdict, as he mopped the last bits of Miss Conceit's coffee out of his ear. Of course, this is what the art teacher had intended all along, for the artwork to be of her. Fabulosity! That is all settled then. We will assemblement in the ground of play every break time and every lunchtime until it is finishment. Ugh, groaned the children. Humdrum high, togetherment we will reach for the stars. With that, the teacher performed a little spin. Dring! The bell rang for the first lesson of the day, and all the children began filing out. Unsure of what to do after her little spin, Miss Conceit struck a pose and stood as still as a statue. That was a strange premonition of what was to come. Watch part 2 to find out how the artwork turns out.